Okay, I wanted to show some examples and talk about what it means to compare fractions and decimals. The first thing you always want to do when you are comparing fractions to decimals is any fractions you have, you want to change over to their decimal form. Now, the fastest way to change a fraction over to decimal form is to use a 4-function calculator. However, you can also do it the old school way, which says to just simply do long division. Okay, so when we're talking about long division, what we're talking about again is that you are essentially doing old school division where the numerator goes inside and the denominator goes outside. And when we're talking about changing over to a decimal, you may have to add some zeros as you go. Okay? Now the rule of thumb says wherever the decimal point lands underneath, you go directly above it, and that's where it sits in the solution or the results spot. So they essentially line up. Now when we look at this, we see that 80 does not go into, or 8 does not go into 7. But 8 will go into 7D, and it goes in there 8 times. So we put the 8 on top, and then you do 8 times 8, which is 64. And we subtract that away and see what's left. Well, 70 minus 64 is going to leave 6 behind. Since 8 does not go into 6, we need to carry down a 0. And this becomes a 60. 8 goes into 60 7 times. 7 times 8 is 56. When we subtract, leaves behind a 4. 8 does not go into 4, so we carry down another 0, which is 40. 8 will go into 40 5 times. 8 times 5 is 40. When you subtract, you're left with 0. And this is one way that we know that we can be done with our long division, is because we get a 0 on the bottom. Therefore, this is the decimal that we received, is this number here on top. So what I want to do is I want to compare, so I'm going to compare 0.878 and 0.875. Now notice I lined them directly on top of each other. So when we compare, we are looking at this decimal as if it had vertical lines separating all points. So we start with the leftmost side and we look and see that the zeros are the same, so we need to keep moving. Here the 8s are the same, again we keep moving. The 7s are the same, so we keep moving. And here we have that the 8 is larger than 5. And so here, when we have to compare our fractions and determine which number is larger, we have that 0.878 is larger than 0.875. Now, if we want to know how much larger, we just simply have to subtract. So in this case, we would be subtracting these values. And when we take 5 from 8, we're left with a 3. So 0.878 is larger than 0.875 by 0.003. Okay. Now let's look at it again. If we did not want to do long division, we would simply do 4 divided by 9 on your 4-function calculator. And notice that gives you 0.4444 repeating. Okay. So here, again, we would have to set up our comparisons. So we have 0.4 repeating and 0.5. So here we're comparing. If we notice, my zeros are the same, but here 5 is larger than 0.4. So we have that 0.5 is larger than 0.44 repeating, and if we do the subtraction, it would be larger by essentially 0.1. Okay. Now another way that we can run comparisons is we can simply arrange them in order from, in this case, we want to go smallest to largest. And notice two of my numbers here are fractions. So the first thing that we want to do is we wanted to look at what is 41 over 500 in terms of decimal form. Again, we can do it old school long division, or you simply take out your 4-function calculator, and 41 divided by 500 gives you 0.082. Now we need to do the same thing with 2 over 25. So again, you can do it old school, or 2 divided by 25 is 0.08. I recommend that you make sure that you know how to do all of these, both old school way and with the calculator, because let's face it, technology sometimes fails. So if you don't know how to do it via long division, what's going to happen if the calculator stops working? Or, as in my case, your cell phone runs out of battery. So we have to do the same kind of comparison here that we did. So we have 0.083, then we have 0.082, and 0.08. So we have to compare these. Again, you want to look at them as if you have these dotted lines separating your columns out. And we want to go smallest to largest. So here, zeros are all the same, zeros are all the same, 8s are all the same. 3 is larger than 2 is larger than 0. So this is going to be the smallest. This one is going to be your middle, and this one is going to be your largest. So when we order them, we would order them as 0.08, and then 0.082, followed by 0.083. Now the other way that you can order these is by using their fraction comparisons. So this would be the same as saying 2 over 25 is smaller than 41 over 500 is smaller than 0.083. Okay. So in a nutshell, that's essentially everything that you need to know about how to compare fractions and decimals with each other and the root math needed in order to do those comparisons. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, remember to keep smiling, ask tons of questions, have conversations. Remember to enjoy your math, relax, and I'll see you next time.